I've been dabbling with Go and Templ lately. And if you're like me, coming from the world of JavaScript, you are so used to having hot reload just working everywhere, right? You make a change in your code base and you have the changes immediately reflected in the browser. And out of the box, we don't really get that. I mean, we don't get that with JavaScript either, but we don't get it with Go. But I wanted to show you in this video a setup that I found that is quite neat and it works almost as good as what we are perhaps used to. So looking at the app that I'm working with here, it's a simple Go app. Our main package, file, and function, all it's doing is using the built-in HTTP package to mount a Templ template on the root path. And then we're starting the HTTP server, the web server on port 3000. The template that we're using just looks like this, and you can see the result here on the right side. Now, normally with Go apps, we would use Go run, and you can see here that it's now started the web server, and if I refresh to the right, we have this working. But what if we make changes in our Go files? And we want to say hello YouTube here. We want to print this in the terminal. Nothing is going to happen down here. We actually have to stop this and then rerun it to see those changes take effect. Now, that's not very nice. We want to have something better. What we can do is, after a little bit of digging, almost immediately when looking for this, I found something called AIR. Live reload for Go apps. So that sounded exactly what we were looking for. The first thing that we want to do is actually install it globally. So we run the install command, and we should have then a binary available to us on our file system that we can then run. And then if we scroll down a little bit further under usage, it says here that the simplest usage is running this, but we can run air init to get a configuration file. And we want to do that because this is going to come into play in just a little bit. Running air init is actually going to give us a air configuration file that looks something like this. We don't have to touch this, not yet. Let's just see how it works without doing anything. So instead of running go run here in the project, I'm going to run air. So now we can see everything has started again, going back to the website, refreshing, it all works fine. But then if we just remove something here, we make a change in our Go file and we hit save, you can see at the bottom here that it's actually listening for those changes and restarting the server for us. This is perfect. But what if we want to make changes in our Templ files? I'm removing some things here, saving. You can see nothing is happening at the bottom. If I go and refresh the page, nothing has happened yet. That's because with Templ, every time we make a change in our Templ files, we have to run Templ generate. And doing that will regenerate the actual Go files that are being used to make this whole thing with Templ work. Now, we never work inside of these files ourselves. We work inside the Templ.templ files, but these files need to be generated every time we make a change. So we're back to the beginning where we were before again. If we make a change, do we have to quit the server, run Templ generate, and then start the server again? We don't want to do that. I found this blog post by someone called Adrian that has some nice examples here how we can get all of this to work together. So Go, Templ, and air to have hot reload working everywhere. So we want to get back to our air configuration file and see here instead in the CMD command, so this would be what air is running every time it restarts the server. It notices a change and it runs this. So what we want to do is we want to start with running Templ generate. And then we want to run go build. So that's the first thing we need to do. We also have to exclude all of these automated _temple.go files. So we don't want to listen for changes in those files. Rather, down here on line 17 with include _ext, here we want to add a new extension. We want to listen for changes in our .temple files. So we make these 3 changes, and we save this. We can close this again. So now if I go back and run air, we can see it actually starts by generating the templates, and then it starts the server. So this is great, because this means if I refresh here, this is what it looks like. Nice to see you, buddy. If I save here, now at the bottom, it's going to rerun this again. And if I refresh, we're going to see the updates that we made in the Templ file. So this is almost what we're used to. I still haven't figured out how to get, if I make a change here and I hit save, fine, it regenerates. But what if I want to have my website here just updated without having to go and click refresh? Now, if you know how to do that, please let me know in the comments. I still haven't been able to figure that one out. Okay, so this is great. Go, Templ, air, it's all working, it's beautiful. But I wanted to show one more thing. In the little toy project that I'm doing, I need to run inside a Linux environment, and I'm on a MacBook, which means I want to use Docker. So there were a couple of things that I needed to do in order to get this to work properly with Docker. So I wanted to show those quickly as well. We're not going to go into details, but I'm using the official Go image. And then the important thing here is that we actually need to install both air and Templ inside of the container. And then we can do some default stuff here, downloading the dependencies, and at the very end here, I'm just going to run air. So obviously this is for development. We're not going to use something like air in a production build. So this setup with Docker right now is just for development. And I also have this compose file with one service that I just call app, Docker compose for mapping the ports, and then this last part here. I notice in the Templ, it has some examples here that we have to use volumes as well. Important to bind mount your code base or live reload. And it says here to /app, and this is just because we're using app as our work dir here. So if you have something else, just the work dir here needs to correspond to whatever you type in here. Okay, so let's see if this works. With Docker compose, we can do Docker compose up to start everything. Now, this was very fast, and you're going to notice if you run this for the first time, it's going to take longer. You might have to download the Docker image, and then you're going to install these packages. So it's going to take a while, but hopefully at the end, you're going to end up with something looking like this. So we can go back here and see if this still works. We refresh, that looks fine. If we make a change here, we're going to add body again with a number of exclamation marks, points, hit save, update, and it works. So this is pretty cool. I had fun with this, actually doing it live on Twitch the other day, playing around with all of this. And I'm quite happy so far with the setup. So thank you for watching. This was everything that I wanted to show you. If you appreciate the video, if you enjoyed it, as always, hit the like button, maybe even subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate that, as I'm just getting started with this content creation journey. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.